Real quick, guys, this is a trigger warning to those who may have experienced domestic violence. The following content does contain a story about domestic violence, so if you are not comfortable with that topic, go ahead and go to the next video. Thank you. What's up, y'all? My name is Asia. You're tuned in to another episode of the Girl What the Fuck podcast. We're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in this bullshit that we call life. We got a guest today. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, I'm Sade.
Sade is one of my friends for over...
It's been
over 20 years, really.
22 years to be exact.
A long periodically time. We've been friends. So, yeah, we met in dance class. If you were a Detroit baddie, then you went to Detroit Windsor. So we met at dance there, and then shoot, it's been on ever since. Our parents are friends. It's like a family situation at this point. Like, we like cousins, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up in her household. She came up in my household. She was around my family. I grew up around her brothers and cousins and stuff. So, yeah, it's a family situation.
From matching outfits to matching outfits.
Literally. Quite literally. Anyways. What the fuck is going on, girl?
Man, life is interesting at 27.
It really is.
Man, 27 sounds so fucking serious.
And I say that all the time. Everybody who is over like 30 is like, no, you got time to do this. It ain't that serious, yada, yada, yada. But like, if you think about it, it is that serious. Like, life is coming fast. Like, it's already the mid-year. Mm-hmm. We about to be 28 in a minute.
Man, time waits for
and then
nobody.
30 knocking at the door. So,
listen, already planning my 30th birthday party. Yeah, stay tuned. But other than that, getting ready to, I set out of here June 11th. I'll be back June 16th.
Where you going?
Orlando.
Orlando.
My friend's son is having a 16th birthday bash.
Oh, okay.
And then I come back and I leave back again June 22nd.
Where you going?
Orlando with my mama for a birthday party. And then we'll be on a cruise until the 30th.
Oh, no, that's right. We love it traveling.
So listen, let's go.
I feel like I ain't been nowhere all year. Have I been anywhere? I ain't been nowhere all year. That's so sad.
What we waiting on?
I'm trying to go to Tulum in July with my cousin, with Richie, for his birthday.
Let me get a passport first, and then we can go.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for Richie for his birthday. Richie turning, 29?
He's 2 years older than us, right?
29? Damn, Richie.
You old.
Yeah, but he turned 29, so he's trying to go to Tulum for his birthday. So we might go there. And then my friend Asia, she turned 30 at the end of June, so she's trying to go to Houston for her birthday. So
turn up. It's the 30.
Yeah. So other than that, traveling for work in 2 weeks.
You be gone.
So, I mean, I'm not as gone as I used to be, but like, yeah, be traveling sometimes.
It's okay. We gonna get there. Gonna get there.
So on the Girl What the Fuck podcast, we also talk about what the fuck is going on in the world. And honestly, I'm ready to wrap this Diddy shit up as of next week, but it is some new information that came out about the whole Diddy situation. So for those who are not caught up on everything, so back in, I think it was in October of last year, 23, in October, Cassie sued him for all types of assault charges, and she ended up settling that case with some money, right?
Like what, 2 days later?
2 days later. So, hush money, she just put it out the door. Then a couple months later, his music producer that he was bringing up came out and sued him for all types of other stuff, human trafficking and abuse and all this other shit, right? Mm-hmm. That they're still trying to prove, right? All this is alleged, even though the feds came knocking. Literally yesterday, another lady came out, because I think Cassie really, she shared her story, so it made other women want to share their story as well. She came out and said back in the 90s, there was 4 occurrences where Diddy had sexually abused her, and like she was in the room with him and Kim Porter when stuff was happening. Ooh. Yeah. And 20 years later, and this is all coming out. So Diddy, you might be going down. But, even before that, this video resurfaced of Diddy beating Cassie ass right by the elevator. Did you see that?
Yeah, you for sure saw it. I think I was on break, and I was just scrolling, and I'm like, what's this? Because the different blogs posted it with the caution sign on it. But I think Hollywood Unlocked posted it without the caution. I was like, wow, you're going down. You can't deny it anymore.
But you know what? They said that they're not going to press any charges against him because obviously was settled. The court case was settled, so they can't really do nothing about that particular situation. Honestly, I just felt bad for Cassie because like she had to relive that whole situation. Like she thought it ain't over because everybody's still talking about it, but like she didn't think she would have to relive it by seeing the actual video of her, getting abused. So
it's crazy because it's one thing to go through it,
yeah,
and then have people, oh, that didn't happen to you. You're lying. You just want money. You just want his fame. And then when it actually happens, and you see it everywhere,
right?
Everybody's calling your phone. And it's just like, damn. Now y'all believe me,
right? As soon as it gets to the public.
Now y'all want to say that I'm sorries, that I didn't mean, I should have believed you first. Mm-hmm. Oh, now you should have, right?
Right.
So now you see what I went through.
And I think another thing is like, particularly about Diddy, he grew up, when I grew up, he came up in like as this peaceful person, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody saw him as a peaceful person, what was this puffy love and all this other shit, right?
Love.
Yeah. All this, he was a peaceful person. Like nobody saw him as that. Even back in the 90s, tweets first coming out, like he was just a guy that would be partying and, just have a bunch of people around and brought him around like it was family and stuff. And now that all this is coming out, I think it's hard for people who grew up with him to, see him in that way. So right. I think that's what is, taking it another way. Now, like, Don't Call Me White Girl, she talked about it on her podcast. She was just very devastated about it, obviously, because, she grew up with all of that shit. And, it's just unbelievable to see it, Yeah,
it's to hear it is one thing, but to physically see it, it's just like, damn. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
It's crazy. But what's done in the dark definitely comes to light.
Which makes us go to my next topic. So you recently started putting your story out on TikTok.
Yes.
What was the name of that story?
Young, Dumb, and Full of Cum.
So are you ready to tell that here today? Or
I can tell it.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. You met this guy. Like what? Tell us all what happened.
Okay. So I had a boyfriend. And my boyfriend at the time was like, oh, I need to go get my hair cut, but I want to go get my hair cut in the hood, where I'm familiar. Mm-hmm. Cool, no problem. So we go to the shop. He walks in first. I walk in. And then he's like, I'm going to call him Old Head. He like, Old Head, this is my girlfriend, Sade, this is Old Head. Mm-hmm. My initial thought was, okay, he cute. But I ain't say nothing, kept her respectful.
Okay, Old Head. How old are we talking?
He was 44 at that time.
Okay. And you were how old?
At that time, I was 20.
20. 44 and 20. Okay.
So the time went on, and we were just going to the shop, getting his haircut, but I can still see him. He's still seeing me, still not saying nothing until this one particular day. It happens to be Old Head's girlfriend's birthday. And he was like, "Lil' mama." I'm like, "What's up?" He was like, "What's your favorite restaurant?" I'm like, "Maggiano's." He was like, "Where that's at?" I said, "It's in Troy." He said, "Okay, text me the address." I said, "I don't have." Yeah, text me the address of the restaurant. Mind you, my boyfriend's sitting right next to me. And I'm like, "Well, I don't have your number." And then he was like, "Well, here's my number." So that's how it got started. That's how he gave me his number. It was real slick. I ain't pay attention to it. I was 20. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And then it just went from there. We just started talking, but it was innocent. It was just like, how your day going, whatever. So this one particular day, me and my boyfriend at the time was working at the mall, 2 different stores. And I'm on the phone with Old Head.
At the mall?
At the mall. Hee ha ha. And my boyfriend come like, "Who you on the phone with?" I'm like, "Nobody." He like, "Who you on the phone with?" Nobody. So then I was like, I'm on the phone with Old Head. And then it just went left from there. Old Head ended up coming up to the mall, buying something for me, walking past Young Head, and it just...
So, when y'all was talking on the phone, what was y'all was friends, like, just talking on the phone? Like,
yeah, it was just innocent. It was
did he know that you was talking to him, like, on the phone or texting? Like, did he know that y'all was cool, like, or...
No.
He just thought that you was just at the barbershop and just saying hey to him?
Yeah, he just thought... My boyfriend? Mm-hmm. He just thought, oh, she just being nice. Like, she just being cordial, talking to him. But then... I was like, dang, I need to get my eyebrows done. One day we was at the shop. He was getting a haircut. He was like, oh, I can do your eyebrows. I'm like, you can't do my eyebrows. And then he started to do my eyebrows. And he was like caressing my face a little bit. I'm like, hold on. But I was liking it though. And my boyfriend was just sitting there and he kind of ain't saying nothing because he was just thinking this will happen when you get your eyebrows done. And then one day, it happens to be my boyfriend at the time's birthday. Mm-hmm. And I was with Old Head.
On his birthday?
On his birthday. I was at Old Head at CVS getting some batteries. And boyfriend at the time blowing my phone down. But we're not cordial now because, I'm so focused on Old Head. Yeah. I ain't worried about you. So he blowing my phone down or whatever. And Old Head ended up texting boyfriend at the time. Stop texting her. She my bitch now. I didn't know he sent that text message. Kid you not, I did not know. From that moment, shit hit the fan.
Okay, now Sade, why the fuck was you with this boy? Not boy, why was you with this man on that man's birthday?
So I was playing it crazy. I'm like, okay, I can be with you early in the day.
But why you wait to see him the next day? Like, if you was gonna play it like that,
because the part of
you ain't keeping it P.
At all. I thought I was being slick. Okay, I'm gonna spend time with you and then I'm gonna go back to the house. We're gonna go out to dinner and everything gonna be fine. No, we never made it to dinner.
Oh my God, you ain't shit.
Listen, as my best friend called it, a shoot the date. I just was. But then, he sent a text message. Boyfriend then called my brothers, called my mama. I got home and it just was a wrap. The cat was out the fucking bag. What
did your people say? Like when he called everybody, what was they saying to you?
Oh, I got cussed out. My mama, she was cool with it. See, my daddy is older. If my daddy would have lived, he'd be 73. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. My mama like, okay, it's just the older guy. Whatever, she grown. My brothers, fuck no. They wanted to turn me every which way but loose. And it just...
I bet they did. I bet, especially Ryan's.
Oh, my God. Listen, he cussed me out from the rooter to the tutor. And then our relationship from there just went downhill.
Okay, so you... Fast forward a little bit. So what happened after that? Like, y'all broke up? Or, like, what happened?
You and
Young Head?
Me and Young Head. We broke up. But... this next following month was March. I turned 21. I went on a cruise for my birthday. Uh-huh. I kind of spent the block a couple weeks prior and did some, adult activities, whatever. On the cruise, I found out I was pregnant. Oh, my God. But at that point, I didn't know who the baby daddy was.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know if it was my young head or I didn't know if it was old head baby. So, listen, I was like, Jesus, can you just take it back? I don't want it. I don't want to go 9 months without knowing who the daddy is. I don't want to tell both. So, listen, thankfully, I had a miscarriage like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Okay. Did they ever find out that she was pregnant?
Nope, but they did on TikTok.
That was their time found it, like, a young kid found out on TikTok?
Young kid found out on TikTok.
Oh, that's...
No.
I can't even imagine how they felt after that.
Yeah.
And how you felt too, like losing the baby. I was
just like,
that can be emotionally wrecked.
Like, God, really? Like, I know this is a lesson.
But I think at the end of the day, he was looking out for you though, because like you need to have that baby. You know what I mean? Like,
that would have caused
a lot of other pain.
Yeah, because if I'm with old head, but I'm pregnant with young head baby, or vice versa, if I'm with young head and I'm pregnant with old head baby, it's like, we're gonna have to wrap this one up. You're gonna have to eternally babysit or something because I can't do it.
Oh Jesus. Okay, so after the miscarriage, who were you with then? Like what?
I was completely with old head. Like we was Bonnie and Clyde. He was taking me around his family. He was taking me shopping. He was a barber, so it was steady money coming in. He dropping money in my pocket. You know. Mm-hmm. It was cool until it was cool.
What you mean by that?
This one day, we were at his shop. So set the scene. His shop's right here. It's a hallway. It's another shop. I'm sitting at the opposite shop. And we're on the phone and we're starting to get into it. I hung up. Mind you, he's next door. Mm-hmm. But he has a room full of clients. And he comes barging in the door. Don't hang up on me. Why are you hanging up on me? So we're arguing. So at that moment, that's when shit hit the fan because that's the first time he put his hands on me. He pushed me up against the wall and we fighting and we tussling and I'm trying to get him off of me. And eventually I mushed his face. But as I mushed his face, he came back and kind of held my neck and he bit a chunk of my shoulder. And I was screaming. Mind you, the whole time I'm screaming, his clients never got up.
And they just sitting there looking.
Just sat there.
Oh.
Never said nothing until I screamed so loud because it hurt. Then they came in and they dragged him in there. So now I'm sitting in the chair and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
And at that point, they probably used to that. Like, this has happened before, clearly.
Yeah. Because the body language was just like, okay, he'll figure it out.
Right.
And I just sat there and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Sade, what just happened? And then he came back and he just kind of threw a bag of ice like, here you go. I'm sorry. And then we just went on about the day as if nothing ever happened.
So you didn't address it later on or nothing? Or?
I did, and he was just like, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again.
Okay. So in that moment, what all red flags came up? Not even just did you think about any other red flags that came up prior to this? Like, did you even see this coming at all? Or like...
At that point, no. I was too far gone. When I say too far gone, when you're with an older man that is used to manipulating and controlling and having power, you don't think about it. You're just thinking like, oh, I'm on his hip. You know, he's showing me off. He's giving me money. I'm not thinking about it. He didn't mean it. But it was a red flag that I ignored, which was that he did a bid, as some people would say. He did 13 to 15 years for murder. And
when did you find that out? When you first met him? Or
I found it out when I first met him. And I just never thought about it. And I just kept saying like, oh, that just happened before I was born. So I'm not going to worry about it. It just happened before I was born.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Listen, I can think back on it and I can just be like, Sade, bitch, you was dumb. Like,
you dated a murderer?
I did. I thought it was cute. Listen.
Oh my God.
You know what's even more funny, right? So after he bit, the shoulder, after that incident, 3 days later, I'm at Starters.
Right.
My mama, your mama sitting in front of me. My mama sitting next to me. And I just so happened to have a dress on. Your mama went to the bathroom and, she was asking me questions about the relationship. Cool, right? Nobody thinking nothing of it. My mama looked at me and she looked at my shoulder. She said, is he hitting on you? And I said, no. At that point, I could have said, yes.
But it can be hard to even come out to say something like that, especially to your mom, right?
Listen.
Like, that can be, you don't want your mom to know stuff
I didn't want
that.
that heartbreak.
I can understand, but...
I didn't want that heartbreak.
Yeah.
I didn't. And then from there, it just got worse. I mean, it just got worse. Then the next fight, I remember we were coming to the shop because he had a late appointment. And for whatever reason, I think the shop flooded and he needed some incense. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to walk across the street to get some incense. He said, okay. I had one of two phones of his in my back pocket. I'm across the street in the store. I'm getting his snacks, for the day, whatever. Got the incense. As I'm coming out the door, he's charging at me in the liquor store. He chokes me, and now we're fighting at the liquor store.
For what?
I don't know. He came in mad. Mind you, I just left you, and you said okay. So now you charged me, and now you're choking me, and you're hitting me in the liquor store. People are running out. The man behind the counter is not saying nothing. So I finally broke off, and I ran towards the door. And as I ran towards the door, I had a ponytail. Like my ponytails I be wearing? He took that ponytail, and he dragged me across the street. People in the cars looking.
Nobody called the police or anything?
No. In those situations, people have a habit of minding their business because you really don't want to jump in because if that person can turn around and charge at you.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't do anything. So that was hell that day.
I don't even know what to...
It's a lot.
say like that. I'm sorry you went through that. I didn't even know you were going through all of that at the time. Like I know when I found out about old head, I was just thinking that you were just dating this older guy. And that's your business. You know what I mean? If you want to date an older guy, like I didn't see nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But if I don't know all the other shit was going on.
Man, it was nobody.
Did you tell any of your friends or like did anybody know at all? Or you just kept it to yourself?
Kind of kept it to myself, but if you were on the phone, you kind of heard the arguments. But I just kind of kept it to myself. Like, I just didn't know what to say. Like, I was scared of this man. And then beatings got worse. Every time he would beat me, he would just come back the next day with money, a balloon or a bear. And I say I had so many bears, so many teddy bears. I would wake up and it's just money and bears. It just became normal.
So y'all lived together?
We eventually moved in together under my name. He told me that if I did not come to the shop that day with the keys to the house, that we weren't going to be together. And so I went to sign a lease. And in River Rouge, which is another part of abuse, they isolate you. He isolated me. So all my family lives in Detroit, and I'm living in River Rouge. I didn't know nobody out in River Rouge. And then after that, it just continued until I started to fight back. And the more I fought back, the worse it got.
I can only imagine, right?
Listen, on this podcast, I will be telling things that nobody knows to this day. And we are 5 years away. He put me in the hospital.
Really?
One particular day, it got so bad, I was supposed to talk to him on my lunch at work. I was working at Comcast in Plymouth, and I was supposed to talk to him on my lunch. I didn't talk to him that day. This was towards the end of the relationship. I ended up reconnecting with Young Head. Now, I don't know Slick, but it was make amends. Like, all right, if I don't make it out, I gotta say sorry. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, I was having dreams about people killing me, people I love dying, and I called my brother, and he was like, God is trying to tell you something. You got to wake up, and you better say sorry to everybody you've ever wronged. So I started calling people and just apologizing. So this particular day, I had sense enough to call Young Head on Snapchat. And we were talking for an hour, and I'm like, something in my heart don't feel right. And I'm like, I'm sorry if I ever did anything to you. I'm sorry that I even made it this far. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And I had to go pick up old head from work again to drive to River Rouge. And he was like, I never forget it. We was on Duo, and the look in his eye, and he said, if you know better, don't bring your ass to this shop. Okay. I went home, and I'm sitting on the bed, and I changed my clothes, and I'm on the phone with Young Head again. I said, if I don't go back to get him, and he make it, and he find his way here, it's gonna be worse. So I gotta go get him. Mm-hmm. He like, no. I said, I gotta go get him. I went to go get him, and I kept my phone on this side of the vent.
Right, yeah.
Old head unsnapped his seatbelt, climbed over me as I'm driving on Southfield Freeway, snatched my phone, was trying to see what I was doing. But I had sense enough to go on Snapchat and deleted the whole app. We got home. We are outside in the driveway. It's an abandoned house on this side, and it's a field on that side. So it's just our house. And it wasn't no street lights on our street. So you really couldn't see unless you drove past with lights. Mm-hmm. So we're fighting. He picked me up. He slung me over the garbage can. That's why you see that mark on my ankle. It's on the other one as well. We made it in the house. I think for his sweetest day, I ended up buying him a knife set. Don't know why the fuck I did that shit. But he had me pent up in the corner with a knife at my throat. And he said, bitch, you gonna die today. I looked up at him, and I just remember just going blank. And I got loose, and I ran. And he caught me, and he pinned me up against the wall, and he's choking me. And I'm like, Sade, he's not ready to kill you yet. He's not done. And I was like, make yourself have an asthma attack. He's going to drop you because he's not ready to kill you yet. And I think the part that shook me was I started to scream, Daddy, help me. But my daddy is dead. So I'm like, nobody's here. It's just me and you. And I made myself have an asthma attack. I kind of faked it. And then in the midst of everything, I ended up having a real one. And he dropped me. And I'm like, I can't breathe. And I'll never forget it. He went to the kitchen and he got a double cup 7-Eleven cup, filled it up with ice cold water, and threw it on me. And said, here, you'll be okay. I had sense enough to grab my phone, my keys, got in the car, turned my location off, drove to the nearest hospital, which would have been Beaumont Dearborn. When I walked in, it was a blur. I was like, okay, this is too close to home. So I drove from River Rouge all the way to the Beaumont in Farmington Hills. This is like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Never mind. Sorry. I was about to talk about, ain't it a Henry Ford in Wyandotte?
It is. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up. I just knew that this hospital was right there. So I just kept driving. I just had tunnel vision. And when I got there, they looking at me like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And they're checking on me. And she was like, did something happen tonight? Again, that was my point to say, yes, something happened. I was just like, no. And then she was like, okay, we're going to examine you. And she was pressing on my stomach. And I started to scream. She was like, are you pregnant? I said, I can't get pregnant. No. She's like, I'm going to give you a pregnancy test. That bitch came in that room. That bitch said, congratulations. I said, oh, fuck, here we go again. I'm like, no, I cannot be pregnant with a demon seed, is what I called it.
Oh, my God. Okay, hold on.
It's a lot.
You was pregnant by this man, too?
I was pregnant by him.
So, okay, what was in your mind when she said you was pregnant? Like, what were you thinking? Like,
I got pregnant by the devil. I'm having a demon seed. I don't want it. I can't. He is going to kill me and keep my baby and raise my baby like, oh, your mom ain't here no more.
How far along were you?
At that point, I think I was 2 months. And then, by the grace of God, I have something called PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. Shout out to Jesus at that moment. To where I can get pregnant, I just can't keep it. And so I naturally had a miscarriage eventually. But at this time, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, driving down the street. I called my mama because I knew she was the only one up. And she like, hey, baby girl, what you doing? I said, nothing, just leaving the hospital. She like, where old head? I said, he at home. She said, you okay? I said, I'm fine. She said, okay. We got off the phone. I went home. I woke him up. I said, I'm pregnant. This man did a whole complete 180, jumped up and down, was like, oh my God, we're going to have a baby. And I'm thinking, nigga, no, we not. And at that point, the abuse stopped because I was carrying his baby until I lost it. And then we're leading to the end of the relationship. This one particular day, August 28th, 2019, I was working at Comcast. And me and him was breaking up through text message. And remember those death dreams I told you about? He told me, those death dreams you were having.
You told him about the dreams?
I told him about the dreams. He was like, those death dreams you was having, it's going to be you. It's all over today. This is it. So at that moment, I'm like, I can't go home. He's going to kill me. I can't go home. I called the only one person that always came running. I called her my Auntie Nikki. And I called her, and she came and got me. And she said, this is it. You can't go back. He will kill you. And we went and we flew to my mama's house. And I was calling my mama, and I'm like, Ma, you got to come home. I have to tell you something. And she was like, I'm at the doctor. My blood pressure is sky high, and I don't know why. I'm like, okay. She was like, I don't know. I just got this feeling that something's just going to happen. My blood pressure just high. I'm like, Ma, I need you to come home. When she came home, we pulled up at the same time. I got out the car, and I looked at her, and she said, what's wrong? And I said, he's been abusing me. And he's going to try to kill me. And she was like, we got to tell your brothers. And I said, no, we can't. And then we drove to my brother's apartment because they were staying together. And I told him, Robert went into Papa Bear mode. Like, oh, my God, no, Ryan was just like, see, I told you. See, I told you. Fucking with that old man. See, I told you. And at that point, I was like, what the fuck? Stupid of me, I took him around my family. So I took him to both of my uncle's house, and I took him to a couple other people's house. So I knew I couldn't go there. And I couldn't go to my mama's house because he knew where my mama lived at. So I went to my uncle on my dad's side, and I went to his house, and I stayed there for the night. But I was extremely uncomfortable because my brother, Robert, had to, which is my brother, he had to break my phone because we found out that put a tracker. Ooh, I just slipped up and said his name. Oh, well.
I'll bleep it out.
Okay. He had ended up putting a tracker on my phone. So he knew where I was at. But my brother, Robert, ended up breaking my phone. And so I was out here homeless in a sense because I have to get rid of my old life to a new life. So I'm sitting in my uncle's house, and I'll never forget it. Him and his wife was sitting outside, and I loved them to death. And I knew she didn't mean no harm. But at that point, she said, well, how do I know she not going to go back? And I think at that point, it broke my heart because it's just like, this is why people don't say nothing. Mm-hmm. And then my auntie Nikki came to pick me up the next day, and I had to go to the police station to file a police report.
Right, yeah.
And also needed a police escort to the house to get my stuff, or to get as much stuff as I can carry.
Right.
Young Kid was in the car because Young Kid and Nikki was extremely close. But he was there for support. When we got to the police station, I gave him the name. They was like, oh, he's in jail. And we like, how is he in jail? Mm-hmm. And then they called the station and picked him up, and they was like, what happened? Do you know this man went to my job in Plymouth and acted a fool because I never came and picked him up from work.
How'd he get there?
His clients drove him all the way to Plymouth, from 7 Mile to Plymouth, and he cut up, and they called the police. And he ended up getting arrested for disturbing and back child support. But that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, so we went to the house. I grabbed all I can grab, and I left the house.
Okay. And you didn't hear from him no more after that?
Oh, I heard from him. He was popping up at my mama's house. I was driving down 7 Mile in Green, 7 Mile going to the lodge, and he ended up finding me and following me, and I didn't see him get out the car, but he was banging on my car window at the light. I sped off. I ended up pulling into this Holbrook Auto on 7 Mile, and he's banging on my car window, and he was like, I need my stuff out the trunk. I need my stuff out the trunk. And I was just like, get it. And then the following and the stalking went on for about 3 years. Wow. And now...
So did you put what's it called?
I did. I put a PP on him, and so he got smarter. He had people following me and popping up.
That's another type of crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so take us to the last interaction with him. How did it stop?
The last interaction was September of 2023. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know, why did you do this to me? Why did you mess me up? Why me? Why did you pick me? And so I knew that I needed to have a face-to-face conversation. I did not tell nobody that I was going to have a face-to-face conversation with him. And I had it. And he told me, because I needed to teach you a lesson. Because that's not how you treat people.
What?
So he took it all the way back. He did all of that because of Young Head. He said I needed to be taught a lesson. And then he apologized. And that was it.
My jaw is literally on the floor.
That was it.
And I really feel like that was just a bullshit ass excuse, to be honest. Like, he was
Absolutely.
like that previously.
Absolutely. I wasn't the first one, and I'm not the last one.
Yeah, definitely. He need to go to...
Man.
So the police never came out with nothing, like...
No. When you know the system, and you a street nigga, you know what to do.
So, bringing this to today, like, how are you today? Like, how, you went through so much. Like, what are some things that you're looking for now when you, like, are dating or you know, are there any red flags you like just push to the side? Like, no, I can't date this person because you saw that in him, or like,
Absolutely.
Like, what are some red flags?
I refuse to date anybody that's older than 10 years. If you're 10 years older than me, I'm not talking to you. I'm sorry. If you have gray hair in your beard, I'm not talking to you.
Well, I like a little salt and pepper though.
If you are a barber, by default, I'm not fucking with you. I can't talk to
salt
you.
and pepper in the beard. Ooh.
But no,
my boyfriend's starting to get a little gray hairs in his beard.
That's fine. That's fine. But listen, but no, in all honesty, like, hey, but no, in all honesty, dating him and going through that really mentally fucked me.
Yeah.
I was so paranoid against men. I was self-sabotage me talking to him, and this was even most recently. I could be talking to you, and I just self-sabotage it because internally I'm scared. Yeah. Because of what could happen. But shout out to therapy.
I was just about to ask, are you seeing a therapist or anything?
Girl, I done seen 3 and fire all 3 of them. I gotta find me a new one.
So when you see a therapist, do you do like consults first, or you just like start?
I did the consult, but this most recent one, we were vibing, but she was trying to be my friend too much.
Oh, she young?
She was in her 30s.
I need somebody older.
Listen, she was trying to be my friend. I'm like, I don't need that. So I'm gonna go back to therapy, but I want to try an in-person therapist this time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on my therapy journey now, trying to find somebody. It's hard.
Listen, it is, but I'm better.
Okay, so if you could tell your younger self, your 20-year-old self, like something, what would you say? Like you go back and tell her something, what would you say?
Stop trying to prove a point. Just because somebody tell you don't do it, I don't have to do it to prove a point. You don't have to prove that point. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay to be lost and confused at 20. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But everything that glitters.
No, you don't know everything.
Everything that glitters isn't gold. You don't know. But it's okay not to know. It's fine. But I would definitely tell her, stop proving a point. Stop.
That's a good one. If you had any advice for anybody, not even just women, anybody that is going through an abusive relationship, like, you have any advice for them, for the people that are watching or listening?
Tell somebody. Anybody. Leave seeds to where you tell different people that you can trust. And when you are ready to leave, when you have the courage to leave, don't leave when other people tell you to leave. You have to leave when you're tired of it. Make your exit. The police is there for you. You have safe houses that are there for you. It's a lot of resources that are here. Yeah, and I'm going to link some things in the bio and in the show notes for those that are listening, for those that may be going through this. If you need any resources, I will have that link below. Yeah, my DMs are always open. It's SADEEE with 3 underscores on Instagram. You can always send me a message, and I'm always trying to help those and have a voice for those that no longer have a voice, because I am still able to have one. So if you ever need it, if you're going through it, been through it, I'm here. I always say time heals what wounds cannot. So lastly, is there anything that you are manifesting for 2024? Continue peace. That's a good one. Continue peace. Continue peace. Yes. Continue healing. I have a long journey ahead of me, but I am the only person that's stopping my journey. Mm-hmm. My mind. So I want continued peace to help me navigate through. I just want happiness. The ultimate happiness. I feel like I deserve it now. Mm-hmm. It's my time. Definitely. But I can't get into happiness without healing that part. The inner self. Yeah, I get it for sure. So definitely peace. Well, Sade, I just want to say that you are such a brave person for telling your story. And, I'm always here. I know we don't talk as much as we used to, but, like, I'm always here to be a listening ear, or I'll be there for you. Like, I always say I'm a low-maintenance friend because I don't really talk to everybody every day. Like, I'm not that person that just be on FaceTime with their homegirls all the time. I'm not that girl. But if you ever need something from me, like, you can always call me, or you can pull up on me, or I can pull up on you, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely needed. Anytime. I got you. Anytime. Definitely. I'm only one call away, as Chingy said. Listen, that's my song. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your story. And you already told people your socials. I will have the link below as well. Yeah, thanks. Thank you guys for watching the Girl WTF podcast. We're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in this bullshit that we call life. You can follow us on all social media at girlwtf.podcast. And you can find us on all streaming platforms at Girl WTF Podcast. Or you can watch us on YouTube at Girl WTF Podcast. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And don't be afraid to speak up.